Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode of Leicester Reborn. In today's episode, we will have Huddersfield on the final day of the season to see if we can go the whole championship season undefeated. Without further ado as well, thank you guys very much for the support on the first few episodes that finally have been out on YouTube. There's been a little bit of a delay between internet issues with my provider, finishing off and uploading the Glory Hunter series, and me playing quite a number of games of this incredible season on Twitch. I think there's only something like 7 games we played off stream. So yet again, if you want to check out content on regular FM streaming, links down below. Come follow us live on Twitch. By the time this episode's out, it probably is a week in the future. I'm filming this on the 8th for the 7th. So if you come in and you click on as of next week, which is like the 16th, 17th of July, and you see that I'm not live, I have a massive poker tournament on next week, and that's why I expect this YouTube channel to catch up and be massively up to date. With that being said, without further ado, let's get into this episode. And the reason why we're here a few days before Southampton is I've made my first signing of next season. For those that weren't aware, we had 63 mil in the budget. We've got 74 mil overall balance, but that's not giving us any prize money or any parachute payment from being relegated last season. If that's been in this database, I'm not sure. And obviously the TV revenue for getting back to the Premier League, none of that's in there. So obviously this balance is about to shoot straight up. And we need to look at some players, and that's the other reason of this episode. I'm not going to break it down too in depth. I'm actually not live on stream just yet. Saturday morning, I'm cleaning my room, etc. But something's happened that is worthy of me going live, and that is we're signing Tete. So for those that don't know, Tete is on loan at Leicester. The game really likes him. John Terry's not the greatest coach to go on, but it says, look, he's an important, good first division player. John Terry's my assistant here. I don't know if that's actually happened in real life, and I've been sleeping on it. He's one of two assistants. Don't mind him as an assistant, to be fair. It just means that I lack having a quality guy to tell me about who's good and who's not. Outside of that, though, Tete has been pretty good when he has played. He's had moments, and a lot of moments where he's been fantastic in games, and he's had a lot of moments where he's been a little bit whatever. But if you have a look over 34 games, he's got 21 goal contributions in the league, with 22 off the bench. So I probably haven't played him as much as I should. But in the 5 games in the Cup, where he's played mostly, which is the FA Cup predominantly, 7 goals in 5 games, which really does show his quality. Lastly, if the game really thinks he's this good, and I sign him, we go up to the Premier League, we're going to be able to sell him on for massive profit, being Brazilian. If he keeps doing what he's doing at 23 years of age, there's probably a world where this guy will actually get a Brazilian Cup, and then by that stage, we're probably looking at 50, 60, 70 million. Last reason why we're doing it, if I get my snipping tool up on my second screen and come up there, that is the bid that we put in for him that has been accepted. So it's 6.5 mil up front. That is no risk. 27 mil over 3 seasons, 9 mil out the budget. Normally don't like doing it that high for players, but what I will say with this is it gives me flexibility to improve in the squad, because I think we need another defensive midfielder to come in with Dewsbury Hall. Secondly, with that as well, being in the Premier League, and as long as we're a stable Premier League club, which we should be next season, we're always going to make good profit, and thus our transfer budget's going to keep increasing or staying stable about the 70 mil mark. So seeing 9 mil come out of that isn't going to be too big of a deal. Lastly, we give him 4.3 mil after 50 games, and there's definitely a world where we play him. He's okay. The young Adam Lynch, who I'll explain a bit more in the second part of this episode, has been playing pretty well as a 16-year-old in the Championship. By that stage, he might have developed into a player that's replaced him, and thus we're selling Tete on before they get that money. If he scores 10 goals, they get 6 mil. I'm not thrilled with that one, because that's going to happen at some stage. I will say that if we do have a poor year in the Prem, he probably doesn't get there. But that 6 mil they're definitely going to get. And 2 mil when we qualify for the Champions League is absolutely nothing. So a lot of those clauses are long term. We do also have them with 15% of next sale of profit. So when I look at this, I'm going, it's not the worst deal. It's cheap up front. A couple of those clauses, if they hit, means he's doing well for us. The 9 mil every year, as long as we stay stable in the Prem's good. And look, if we qualify for the Champions League, they can have their 2 mil. I really tried to talk them down into taking more of these and trying to get this down. They weren't budging, but I do think at 23 years of age now I can close this. No, I don't need to save it. Now we can do this. I think at 23 years of age, it's either you sign him now so he gets a couple years of decent development in the Premier League, or you don't sign him at all. So I think he's definitely the first one I'm going to bring in. He's very well-rounded, very usable, and he's a long-term player. And as part of what I'm trying to build here with this Leicester squad is I want either guys that are between the ages of 18 to 23 that could either A, develop, look good, and, become first-team players, B, preferably English talent, and see if we need experienced players that's in the right areas that are really good. Straight off the bat, without talking about the squad too much, it is defensive midfield. I think that's the big place, but that's obviously for not this episode, the episode after, where we go and try and sign people for the Premier League. Without further ado, let's go get into the Huddersfield episode. Obviously, if I fall into any trouble against Southampton, you guys will see that as well. And it links down below to come follow us live on Twitch, where I'll be live shortly to go and end off the season and do all the pre-season scouting. Alright, YouTube, it's time. It is on the final day. We got Huddersfield. No sweat fest against Southampton. We're really good yet again. We are currently live on the stream, so if you want to watch the VOD, links down below. It's live for 30 days on Twitch, the stream in its entirety. I just said to the Twitch stream, though, this stream in particular is going to be too long. I've got a few things I need to do. Anyhow, with that being said, let's get into where we were. The last game that we all saw was obviously Man United 3-1. Preston 4-1, Sunderland 3-0, Coventry 4-1, West Brom 3-0, 2-0 to Middlesbrough, 4-2 to Rotherham, and of course Southampton was the last game we played where we won 4-1. Didn't keep much of the ball, but dominated in terms of chances created. Patson Daka has now become our new number one. Tede got his excitement out that, I'm signing for you guys next year to play in the Premier League. Yes, you are. And he scored. He was fantastic in the game as well. We'll be starting today. Patson Daka has got 30 and 37, which is a not bad return. Him and Iheanacho are very, very close to starting or either or. And 28 and 40. If I had both of them up front, one interchange with the other next season, I think they're good enough to keep you in the Premier League. And that's the goal. Like next year, it's going to be stay in the Prem, finish 14th, anywhere from 14th to 8th, you're like super duper happy. Anything more than that, which this squad could be, it is what it is. Now, I do want to say one thing before we go in, and maybe I jinx losing this game, is this team on paper, right? This team on paper is got good Premier League division players across the board, right? And by the way, Omobamidele, he's going to be outrageous when he's done. Like, our worst couple of players in the team are like Wilfred and Didnt, and they're still a good Premier League player, at 3-star. Alex Scott is another one, he's a good Premier League player that's developing. What I'm trying to get at is we should have had a really good year this year. We should have, and we have. Did I think we were going to win 43 out of 45 matches and have an episode to go, well, can we win 44 matches out of a 46 season? Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. I was saying, outright favourites, and this is the thing when you do databases like this, is when FM24 comes out, Leicester's squad will get re-rated to be, these players maybe aren't as good as we thought they were for last year's game. Obviously, when these guys make these databases for this year's game, it still keeps as much of the potential and the ability of what the game preceded in FM23 of 2022-23. So, obviously, the Leicester side that the game thinks is the Leicester side that's gone, European football last couple of years and, weren't relegated and looked horrid, in the season we've just watched. So that's my disclaimer of saying that as much as this is great and this is fantastic, I've never gone undefeated in the Championship before. I don't really manage too much in the Championship. I usually get out pretty easily in the Championship. Have lost a few playoff games, as everybody has. But yeah, with that being said, I just want to put it out there that this team in next year's game will be a little bit worse. And I don't think in real life they're going to come up this easily. I don't think anyone's ever going to come up this easily. With one game left in the season, Samar's going to go into here. Alex Scott's actually going to go back a line, and I'm actually going to start Will Alves, who has been fantastic. One or two players I want to bring up. Will's looked this good and developed this good, and he's, we just signed him to a new long-term deal as well. Physically great, mentally developing, technically looking very good at 18 years of age. Anything that's 11 plus generally get to 15 for me. For Will, so 1, 2 corners is you got to take into consideration like corners and work rate and determination. That sort of thing doesn't develop with training. The rest kind of do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19. There's potential for 20 plus stats or 15 plus. Do I think some of these 11s are going to get there? No, but they'll get to 13 and 14 while the rest get to 15. That's going to make him world class. So look, Will's had a very good year. As a youngster calling him up, 33 games, 22 starts, 11 off the bench, 7 7 goals 6 in your first year of professional football at 17, just turning 18, is fantastic, and a 7.06. So first thing first, Will has been fantastic. Second one that we obviously want to speak about is the youth intake player that we mentioned last episode that came through, the only one that came through, Adam Lynch. Have a look how good he is. He's been fantastic. Because we won the league in February when he came through, we just played him, and he's only missed 2 games. Everything else he's played. 6 starts, no off the bench, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 goal contributions in 6 games in the championship. I expect to see Adam Lynch to be part of this team for a long time. The whole idea of signing Tete's 23, playing for a couple years in the Premier League, while Lynch is developing, playing under 21s and off the bench for me and playing the occasional game. I will say that after Zealand's video, playing them even at 16 years of age in the first team is much better than playing under 21 football. My idea is Tete, bring him in, develop him, not develop Tete, develop Lynch in the background, play Tete at 23, 24, 25, see if he does develop a little bit, and then obviously when he gets to 26, 27 in his prime, sell him off, and then Adam Lynch comes in at right wing as a 19, 20-year-old, ready to go and do things like Will Alves is doing. So yeah, he's looked good, he's developing quite well, got natural passing at a young age too. At 16 years of age, definitely keep an eye on him. Anyone that's 16, I generally look for stats 10 plus, especially in the physicals, they grow pretty quick. So yeah, obviously Adam Lynch could be quite the worldie as well. He's had a pretty good start. We might bring him off the bench for this game here as well, YouTube. That leaves us in a position where this team looks fantastic. Look, I'm going to break it down very quickly into players that I think are good enough for the Premier League as well for next season. But next episode is definitely the one we're focusing on, making sure this squad is definitely going to finish, mid to top half next year in the Prem. Melier in goal, fantastic. Keeper, Castagna, Harry Suter, Omabamdele, or Andrew. Omabamdele is much more fun to say. And Christensen, though, if those 4 in the keeper stayed and did not move, which, by the way, Harry Suter is wanted by Atletico Madrid, Castagna is wanted by PSG and Atletico, and Christensen is wanted by Juve. If we cut them all 4 into 5, we've got a Premier League back 4 already, like a good Premier League back 4. That's the other thing, you go through the team, you're like, the game records, these guys are all fantastic for the Prem, hence why you've gone crazy in the Championship. Drewsbury Hall, I do think is good enough for the Premier League. Adam Scott will play, but obviously I'm playing him back once, allow Alves to start because of the suspension to didnt or the injury, one of the 2. Tete, obviously, we've already bought him for next season. You saw that in the first part of the episode, so he's going to be here for the Prem. Harvey Barnes on the other side, obviously Premier League quality, and Patson Daka is too. So if I look at that team, realistically, you're looking in the middle of the park as a defensive midfielder to come in, that's really good. And outside of that, your team's pretty happy. So yeah, next year's going to be a year of consolidation, trim the fat. We're not in Europe, so, find the right defensive midfielder and off we go. With that being said, that's your team, and we've got 1 game to get through to win the league undefeated. A draw or a win, and we go undefeated for the full year in the Championship. I didn't think that was ever going to be possible at any FM save. In saying that, though, this team, if there was going to be a side, is going to do it. I've seen a couple of my team members do Southampton saves. Team members are, people that come into the chat, and they've lost something like 2 or 3 games this season. Poor old Norwich are on like 99 points or 100 points, and they're not winning the league. Which is a really good season for them. Anyway, Adam Scott with Border Will Ives, and it falls to Valic, who is a decent keeper, Valic, as well. This Huddersfield side used to be in the Prem, obviously, a few years ago, and have some decent players in there as well, like Pearson at the back, Kamara through the middle. They've got John Jules, who's a decently quick striker up front. But yeah, we're just going to get through 1 game. 1 lousy game, and we are undefeated for the season. And as you can see, we have 68% of the ball. We're obviously going to give you a little bit of a data hub breakdown at the end of this game when we look at the season. But yeah, no one was really ever going to stop us getting to the Prem this year. And there's not, I honestly thought in my head, and we said it on stream maybe a few streams ago, I think we'll lose maybe 4 games this whole year. And I said it was the game away to Wolves, game away to Southampton, the game away to Norwich, and there'll be an FMing somewhere. And that was it. As Patson Daka's in to put us 1-0 up, goes to try to go round the keeper, never did. Poor from Daka, should have just side-footed a pass back lick. Dominated, but 0-0. And, the scary part is the 2 games we've drawn this year, we have dominated both. And they've scored every chance they've had on target. Drewsbury Hall looking for Harry Suter, heads just over. Harry Suter's got 11 goals all year, I think 7 or 8 in the Prem, in the Championship. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes in the Prem with his lack of speed, because everything else is pretty decent for Harry Suter. I'm happy with the numbers, is what I am going to say. I'm not particularly happy that we have not scored. 22 shots, 7 on target. Feels like we're going to get FM on the final day of the season. And hopefully we don't concede one really late to kill the undefeated run. With that being said, 63 minutes in, I am going to give you guys a little look at Adam Lynch, who has been creating and scoring goals. Patson Daka's not at his best today, so Ian Nacho's in. Moore in for Harvey Barnes. These are all very good players that we're bringing off the bench here as well. And this is Badgertek's probably last game, so Alva's going to come off, Scott's going to go in the hole to help create, and Badgertek's going to go as a defensive midfielder on support, who, by the way, has developed quite nicely, and Liverpool have quite the prospect, but we won't be loaning him back next season because I think Sammy Braybrook would be coming back in quite developed from Sherrilleri. We maybe have a look at that before we end the episode as well. Uma Bambadele finds Harry Suter, and this is just one of those highlights because we're trying to make changes. Hopefully we don't concede as Big Harry with all his big 6'5" frame goes through someone. Always nice to see. Victor Christensen looking for Harvey Barnes down the channel. Patson Daka's in the hole. Cuts it, cleared, and Kasumu is going to clear. Uma Bambadele, Scott, Castagne. Is this the highlight? Is this pointless? I'm not too sure. I think this is pointless. Who knows? The highlight's still going. Ball in across the box. Decent ball in back stick. Harvey Barnes heads, and Vaklik makes another save, but that one there you should definitely make. With that being said, hard changes made. 67 minutes. It's still 0-0, and there's still the potential of giving away an undefeated season right at the end. And here we go. Ball finds Edsmond Green. Turton. Ball over the top. Harry Suter needs to get there, and as of all this whole season, he's always got their Lynch. Scott. Ball over the top. Ian Nacho. Can he finish? Ian Nacho. Off the bench, he scores. It seems to happen quite a lot this season that if I start Daka, he doesn't score, Ian Nacho scores, and then if I start Ian Nacho, Daka scores off the bench. So, yeah, maybe that's just the thing that, against tired legs, the quick strikers just do it later on. Ball over the top from Adam Scott, moved him, Alex Scott, moved him straight into the 10. First thing he does is sets up a goal. Ian Nacho slot, we're 1-0 up, and the undefeated season looks like it's well and truly arriving. And a great way to end the year as well. Kamara now with the ball inside there to Reborn. Uma Bambadele wins, clears as far as Lynch. Great touch from the 16-year-old. Adam Scott, Lucas Moura. Ian Nacho's in the hole. Does he want to play him? Of course he does. It's 2-0, 2 goals in 2 minutes. On the break, starts with the 16-year-old Adam Lynch winning a 50-50 with a great touch and a good ball inside. And, well, that's got to be the hallmark. There it is there. It's great. To win the ball and then play Scott, and Scott with the right ball and Moura to cut it. Great goal on the break, and that's going to be a hallmark of what we're going to do next season in the Prem. Win balls back and go direct and quick and go at sides, because that's the only way we know how to play FM. With that being said, Valik with a ball in the Edmonds Green. Kasumu, should have put Vardy on the bench, just thought of that. Forgot about that because he's obviously missed out. Well, we're going to concede a goal. Harry Suter does enough. With that being said, I'm going to make one last change. Drewsbury Hall's going to come off, and I'm actually going to bring Samari in because it could be the last time you see him, and he's a decent player as well. We could get a good 20 to 30 million for him, which pays for Tede. And yeah, Badgertek, who in his last game finds Lynch, the 16-year-old, finds Castagne, and you can already see from Lynch's ability, he's just very good at what he does. He looked offside there, and he is off. But when he's on the ball, he looks silky, the young 16-year-old. And he's got great passing range at 15, natural passing at a young age. Anyway, Lucas Moura with a ball, front stick. Uma Bambadele doesn't rise. Lucas Moura again, cuts it. Badgertek hasn't scored for us, the Liverpool loanee. Would have been nice. It's 80 minutes played. We're 10 minutes away from finishing off a historical season in the Championship. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's still one more highlight before the end of the season too. And in the end, Victor Christensen finds Uma Bambadele. Samar finds Badgertek. He drives with it and loses out. Helic. Lees. Do we force him long? We do. And Harry Suter does not win. Phillips. Does Melia need to make a save? He doesn't because it's fired over the bar. That's my worry with Suter for next season, is against world-class strikers. He's going to get very found out with his lack of pace. One last highlight before we end the season as well. Helic now with a ball to Turton, ball inside, and well moved out to Williams. They look like they've gone all the way on top of us here. Harry Suter's decided to go get himself suspended for next season. He wants an extra break. Well done, Harry. That is quite dumb when you're winning the league. It's always a red card too. There we go. So we're going to give away a clean sheet and a red card in the final game of the season. Harry Suter is going to be suspended for the start of the Premier League next year. Great stuff. Knockout now. With a chance. Does Meslier want one last clean sheet? People have only conceded 19 goals all season. I would love it to stay 19. Meslier to finish off the season. Gives it the fist pump. What a save. Bottom right. And Meslier is going to keep his clean sheet bar the corner drama. He's been fantastic, the keeper as well. The ball in, cleared away. Probably all she wrote. Meslier has saved a pen at the last gasp. And in a game where you've had 3.17 XG, 29 shots, your goalkeeper's the one that gets man of the match, not the guy who scored 2 off the bench. Funnily enough. There we go. Very happy with that. Great way to end the season. Boys played fantastic. 130 goal difference and 134 points. We won the league by 34 flimming points, ladies and gentlemen. Confirm the fine. Yep. There we go. Yeah, that was pretty dumb. Now let's go and have a look at the season in general. That was the playoffs there as well. So as you can see, Watford leads Ipswich, Southampton. Go to the league table. 24 goals. So keeping it under 25. That's fine. 44 wins, 2 draws, 154 goals for, 24 against, a goal difference of 130, 134 points. If you look at the data hub, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the good old data hub, team performance, let's see how far we overextended our XGs and everything. So we're meant to score 125 goals this season according to XG, which is crazy. Scored 28 above, which is out of this world. It's like Man City territory numbers on FM sort of thing. You know, when we were dealing with Real Madrid and Glory Hunter, that's what they were doing. So that's how dominant we were. XG of against the 31, 6 under, which is perfect. Meant to get 110 points, which is still bloody nutters in the league, which means we would have won the league by still 20 points on XGA and XG tables. 23 points over that, which is absurd. So I'm happy with that. What a season, what a run, what a team. Meslier, I have to speak about him now. He's only conceded 19 with 22 clean sheets, which is surely a record. Records are tumbled. Team looks fantastic. This team here is good enough to stay up in the Premier League and probably then some on top. This team might even be sneakingly good enough to finish in Europe next season because that's what Leicester were kind of doing when this game came out. And I think that's where the game predicts we're going to be. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for enjoying the first season of Leicester Reborn. Undefeated in the Championship. Give it a like for that. Links down below to follow us live on Twitch. And when I see you guys next time, it is to have a look at the signings we have made for next season. Thank you and goodbye.